Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast presented by Manly Bands. Hope everybody had a great holiday weekend, enjoyed 4th of July and everything. Kept all your fingers, all your toes with the fireworks out there. Hope everybody stayed safe. Josh All Alone, your host here on a Monday. We got the guys coming in. We're going to do a full group podcast episode this week, probably tomorrow night, be out to you guys on Wednesday. And I will talk about what the topic of that episode is going to be here later on in the episode today so that you guys can get your input to us before we record that tomorrow night. We really want to hear what you guys have to say about the topic we're going to discuss tomorrow. But today, what I want to do, and this probably won't be a very long episode, just a quick microcast version of the show. I want to talk about this whole Shedeur Sanders playing in the CFL or being on the Toronto Argonauts negotiations list. We're seeing this stuff posted everywhere. All the, fake media outlets, on the internet are writing the same article, copy and pasting from each other and blah, 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 just using it for clicks, but it's out there. So we need to just talk about it, understand what it means, what's going on, why he's on this negotiation list for the CFL team, Canadian Football League, and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I want to do today, break that down. I made a post about it over the weekend on social media, so if you saw that, you probably already are up to speed. Of course, if you guys are listening to this show, you're probably up to speed already anyway. You don't need me telling you what's what, but I'm going to do it anyway, and hopefully you get a little entertainment out of it as well on your Monday afternoon or Tuesday or whenever the heck you're listening to this. So before I dive into everything, make sure you guys like the video on YouTube, subscribe, tap the notification bell. You guys know the drill on audio podcast platforms. Make sure you guys leave us a 5-star review, 5-star written reviews on Apple Podcasts go a long way in helping out the show. And another way to help out the show, if you're interested in doing so, is jointhedogs.com. It's just $5 a month to join our dog pack over there. You get access to the private Discord if you want that, where we have 24/7 conversations in there with our all of our followers that are in there, the diehard Browns fans community that we've built online. You also get access to the fantasy football leagues. That's the big thing right now. Signups are underway. We are divvying up the leagues, getting things ready to go. There's still time to sign up. You've got through about mid-August or so to get in there. But if you want to make sure you get your spot in a fantasy league, join now and register on the fantasy football post at the top of the page. Like I said, $5 a month is a cup of coffee that you donate to the Dogs Podcast each month. You don't even notice it's gone, but we notice it in a big way. It really does help out the show financially, considering we are an independent podcast. There are no financial backers for this thing. Everything that we pull in to do this show, we do ourselves through advertising and through you guys out there supporting the show, watching, listening, sharing, interacting with us on social media. Everything you guys do with the show, we appreciate because it helps us out a ton. And it makes it 100% more worthwhile doing this to have you guys involved. And we love it. So jointhedogs.com. Okay, so I pulled a lot of this information that I got off of this USA Today article that was posted on, I guess I could give you guys the date here, July 5th. So what's today, the 7th? So just a couple days ago, this came out. I pulled a lot of information from this. The Toronto Argonauts of the Canadian Football League have added Shedeur Sanders to their negotiation list. He's been on there since April 28th. So right after the NFL draft, whenever he fell to the Cleveland Browns in the 5th round, CFL teams, quote, are allowed to add both professional and college level players to their negotiation list at any time. So there can be current college football players on the CFL team's negotiation lists. So even it doesn't have to be an NFL player or anything like that. They can still be in college. So this is a whole new thing that just happened in the CFL. So every team had to make their full negotiation list public for the first time ever. And that was last Wednesday on July 2nd. So for the first time ever, the entire negotiation list for each team had to be made public. Each team can have up to 45 players on their negotiation list. Those are players who are currently either unsigned, so they're free agents just sitting out there, whether they want to sign with an NFL team, a UFL team, maybe they're playing in the UFL, or they're a college football player. Those are the types of players that can be on, or they're currently in the NFL. I missed that one as well. So They're either a free agent, unsigned free agent. They could be actively on an NFL roster and be on a negotiation list for a CFL team. They could be in another professional league like the UFL, or they could be in college playing football in the NCAA. So what this means for these players, the CFL team holds the exclusive negotiating rights to that player. So Shedeur Sanders, for us, this is the one we're concerned about. He is on the negotiating list for the Toronto Argonauts. That just means they own the rights to negotiate with Shedeur Sanders should he ever decide to enter the CFL. Players can be added or removed from the negotiation list at any time, and CFL teams are also allowed to trade the rights to players on their negotiation list to other clubs in the CFL. So the Argonauts could trade the negotiating rights for Shedeur Sanders to another CFL team if they wanted to, or if another team came and gave them whatever asking price they wanted to move those negotiation rights. So what this article says, just because Shedeur Sanders is included on one of these negotiation lists does not mean he's going to play in the CFL. It simply means what I just stated. The Toronto Argonauts will retain his CFL rights if he ever does decide to play in Canada. So they go on to say Shedeur is far from the only NFL quarterback that is currently on a CFL team's negotiation list. Many of the CFL clubs, they stockpile the rights to high-end college quarterbacks and back-end NFL roster candidates in hopes that one of them will eventually decide to join their team in Canada. Shedeur Sanders, obviously, they say among the most notable, of course, the Saskatchewan Roughriders currently have Trey Lance on there. And I know everyone, oh, Trey Lance, what a bust. Okay, I get it. Just he's probably the most notable name, the most well-known name that's going to be on any of these lists right now. So Trey Lance, again, the number 3 overall pick in 2021 when the 49ers traded 3 first-round picks to move up and take him. I think he started 5 total games maybe for them. That was it. So again, one of the most well-known candidates on these lists. So I'm going to go through just some of these. Again, we're not going to know a lot of these guys. I play fantasy football and stuff, and I pay attention to a lot of players across the league, so I recognize some of these names. Probably not going to mean diddly squat to you guys, but I'm sure the first name I'll list here, a lot of you will remember from the BC Lions. They have negotiating rights to Ben DiNucci. DiNucci is or was the backup for the Dallas Cowboys way back when, and he filled in for Dak Prescott, I think, when he had his broken ankle or something like that. I forget exactly. But anyway, so Tanner Mordecai is on the Rough Riders. You got Jake Haener, the backup quarterback for the Saints, is on the Stampeders. Adrian Martinez, the former quarterback from Nebraska, is on the Tiger Cats. Keaton Slovis, Tiger Cats. Brady Cook is on the Blue Bombers list. And Shedeur Sanders, of course, is on the Toronto Argonauts. So prior to last Wednesday, the way I understand this is each CFL team had to release a few names. I don't remember the exact number, but they had to release a certain number of names out of the 45 on their negotiating list at certain times or something like that. They had to reveal 2 or 3 names or whatever the case may be at certain times until finally it became now you just have to make your entire 45 player list known, disclose it, available to the rest of the teams in the league. So that's how this all came out, that the list came out and boom, there's Shedeur Sanders sitting on the list for the Toronto Argonauts, and everybody just ran with, he's going to the CFL. Browns are going to cut him. He's going to play in the CFL, all blah, blah, blah. Here, I've heard it all. I've been on social media. I have read the comments. I know what's being said out there. Shedeur Sanders is not going to play in the CFL, barring just absolute catastrophe for him with the Browns. Okay, which, when you talk about quarterback catastrophe with the Browns, now we're in the realm of possibility. But still, despite the fact that he fell to the 5th round, Shedeur Sanders is still widely regarded by, what did I say before, 90% of pre-draft analysts who do this for a living all had Shedeur Sanders as a first-round pick, first-round talent, and maybe an early second-round talent at the lowest. Like, that was the worst evaluation or pre-draft evaluation that he really received from anybody reputable. Nobody had him as a 5th rounder. Like, that was not his skill set. He definitely has the talent level of a much higher draft pick than what he was. The reason that Shedeur Sanders is on the negotiating list for a CFL team is simply because he is a high-profile quarterback who fell to the 5th round of the NFL draft, which, historically speaking, does not guarantee you a roster spot in the NFL. Just take the name and the talent, the pre-draft stuff, all that off the table and just say a 5th round quarterback is not guaranteed a spot on an NFL roster. So for the CFL, like, they only get 45 of these players to put on their list, and that's for every position. It's not, they don't get to list 45 quarterbacks, they get 45 players. So they're not going to allocate a ton of these 45 spots to quarterbacks who have roles locked up on NFL rosters. Patrick Mahomes is not on a CFL negotiating list because he's not going to the CFL. That's just a waste of time and a waste of a line item number for a CFL team. Even guys like, I'm trying to think of a good example for a backup. I mean, even Kenny Pickett right now. I mean, he's got a backup spot pretty much guaranteed wherever he goes in the NFL. He's going to be on an NFL roster. So he's not on a CFL negotiating list. You've got some of these backup players. And, you know, maybe a CFL team had a guy like Cam Ward on. I don't know this. I'm just speculating. Maybe they had like Cam Ward on their negotiating list before it became very apparent, oh, this dude's going in the 1st round. He's probably going number 1 overall to the Titans. Get him off the list. This isn't happening. He's locked into the NFL. Those guys come off the list very, very quickly. So Shedeur Sanders being on this list, I think it's much ado about nothing, to be honest with you. He's not going to play in the CFL. This guy's, you know, if things work out the way that we think they will in training camp, Shedeur Sanders will either, you know, move himself into the QB2 spot moving into the season after one of the veterans gets the nod to begin. Or, you know, at worst, he'll be QB3 behind, you know, whichever veteran wins out and then Dylan Gabriel or vice versa. I still don't think we keep both of the veterans going into the season. I just don't see how that's helpful for the team in any way when we're trying to figure things out for the future, but still try to compete now. We'll get into all that with some guests that we got coming on the show here in the next couple of weeks and all that kind of stuff. But the big thing to note about this is just he's on the negotiating list for a CFL team, and all that means is they hold the rights to negotiate with Shedeur Sanders should he ever enter the CFL. Now, again, he locks up the QB2 spot in training camp and shows out, and it's like, oh yeah, Shedeur Sanders is locked into the NFL. He's coming right off of that list. Guaranteed. They're not going to allocate one of their 45 spots to Shedeur Sanders when he is clearly going to be on an NFL roster for the next however many years of his life. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I don't think we're going to be hearing too much more about this CFL thing. I don't think it's going to go much further than this. Obviously, you'll read the articles. You'll hear the speculation by some of the idiots out there saying, oh yeah, they're going to cut him and he's going to have to play in the CFL. It's the only place he can blah, blah, blah. Let's just get to training camp. You know, we're less than 2 weeks away, I believe, from when the rookies have to report and things are going to get underway. Me and Justin will be up there at one of the training camp sessions, taking it all in, and we're going to do a podcast about all that. So it's going to be a great time. So just hang in there, guys. We're very, very close. We're almost through this nothingness period of the summer where there's just not a whole lot to talk about, and you get pieces like this. Just I shouldn't. This USA USA Today post article was. I'm not saying this was a clickbait piece. This was a good explanatory. There, I'm telling you guys, it's the Monday after 4th of July weekend. Give me a break. Cut me some slack, or don't. I really don't care. You can just tear me apart in the comments. Don't mind. Either way, it was a very good article explaining and breaking down the whole situation with Shedeur and the CFL. And so that's why I just wanted to come on here, relay all that information to you guys, just so we can once and for all put all the nonsense behind us, understand the reality of the situation. And I've probably already spent too much time on it as it is. So let's take a quick break in the pod. And when we come right back here, we're going to talk about the topic that we're going to be diving into tomorrow night when I record with Blake and Justin. And we want your guys' input on that topic. This episode is sponsored by Manly Bands. Hey, if you guys missed the 4th of July sale from Manly Bands, they are extending the sale right now. Get over to manlybands.com and take advantage of the 35% off site-wide sale that's still going on. Plus, when you order, you get a free 3-pack of silicone bands with your order. And if you use promo code CAMP25, CAMP25, you will get an extra $25 off that order. Manly Bands is men's wedding bands reimagined, unique, handcrafted, and badass. Plus, they've got chains, necklaces, bracelets. Plus, they've got other awesome manly things like the Woodsman hatchet you can buy. They've got barware stuff. They've got watches and earbuds, lighters, pocket knives, all kinds of manly things for men. So get over to manlybands.com right now. Take advantage of the 4th of July sale that is being extended right now. 35% off site-wide. Plus, you get a free 3-pack of silicone bands with your order, and use promo code CAMP25 to get an extra $25 off your order. That's manlybands.com/dogs.
What if everything you've been taught about happiness is wrong? We chase careers, approval, more stuff, hoping it'll finally make us feel fulfilled, but it never sticks. What if happiness isn't out there, but already inside you, just waiting to be unlocked? Discover the book, The Happiness Experiment. Every person has a unique happiness type, and when you understand yours, everything shifts. You'll stop chasing and start creating joy on your own terms. Discover your happiness type with a free happiness type assessment. Go to myhappinnesstype.com. That's myhappinnesstype.com. It takes just a minute and it might change your life. Then grab your copy of The Happiness Experiment at Books A Million. This isn't just a book, it's a practical framework, a journey inward. It's a tool to help you reconnect with the happiness that's been waiting inside you all along. Pick up The Happiness Experiment and start your happiness experiment today.
Since 1989, Mount Hope Fence has set the standard in outdoor living. From decks and railings to fences and patios, we've got you covered. Our lineup features top brands like TimberTech, Alumagard, Preferred Railing, and Unilock, along with our own premium Duralux vinyl products. For over 30 years, we've partnered with contractors ensuring reliable job site delivery. Discover quality and excellence in all things outdoors with Mount Hope Fence.
Okay, so I think it's going to be a fun one tomorrow night. We are going to be talking about this article that came out. It was a collab between Jared Muller, I believe, at Dogs by Nature, and he sat down with our good friend Jake Burns from Browns Film Breakdown, and they did the top 25 worst decisions made by the Cleveland Browns since 1999. Such an interesting piece here. And I'm just going to go through, I'm going to read off the top 25 list that they broke down. And then what we're going to do on the episode tomorrow night, we're each going to come with our top 5. And then collectively, we're going to put together our top 10 out of this list, and maybe even some that we feel were bigger mistakes that aren't on this list. So I don't know exactly how it's all going to go, but that's the plan for the show. But we want you guys in the comments on social media, wherever you're listening or watching this, let us know your top 5. Don't go crazy with 25 or even 10. Give us your top 5 biggest mistakes the Browns have made since 1999. We will collect as many of them as possible, read them off on the show, and we will go from there. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let's start down here at number 25. They have listed Cameron Wembley, Haloti Ngata trade. Then they have 24, Tristan Wirfs, and I'm guessing that means passing on Tristan Wirfs for Jed Wills in 2020. Number 23, the numerous GM hires. They don't go anything too specific there, just numerous GM hires. Number 22, the 2016 NFL draft. Point blank, just the whole thing. 2016 NFL draft. Number 21, the Gerard Warren selection. Yeah, we will probably be talking about that one. Number 20, the GPODAWUND sign malfunction in the stadium. I believe this was something Justin was a part of where it meant to say go dog pound, but it said GPODAWUND. They did not get it right. And then hashtag DP. This one I wanted to look up because this is from a few years back. I think this was back in 2019. This article in Sports Illustrated says, so they projected the Browns feed onto a giant wall at the facility. It was like broadcasting talk radio over the entire building. One day in particular, it was worse than that. One of the marketing staffers entered a search for hashtag DP for dog pound. The problem was that hashtag carried a few different meanings, one of which triggered an array of porn to be broadcast onto a wall for the entire office to see for more than 20 minutes until a tech employee killed the feed. Oh my gosh, we're going to be probably talking about some of this tomorrow night. Number 19, the Danny Shelton, Cam Irving draft. Ooh, miss. Number 18, Pat Shurmur, Rod Chudzinski, especially with Travis Kelce begging to be drafted. Just to circle back here to Pat Shurmur, for everybody that says, oh, how is Shedeur Sanders not ready for the NFL? He had Pat Shurmur as his OC. You're not going to win that argument with Browns fans. Not at all. Number 17, Ray Farmer tech scandal. Oh, man, this team has done some dumb shit over the years. Number 16, Jim O'Neill as defensive coordinator. Number 15, Alex Shiner's trash uniforms with Browns running down the leg. Those uniforms were so bad. Number 14, letting Baker Mayfield play injured. Okay. 13, this might be my number one. Spoiler alert. This one will be on my list. Paul DePodesta. Boom, period, done. Don't need anything else with it. Paul DePodesta, probably the biggest mistake this team has made and yet still continues to make to this day. Number 12, drafting Brandon Weeden. Hey, it was 4th of July, so I saw all the videos and memes being shared across social media of Brandon Weeden getting trapped under the American flag ahead of his first start in Cleveland. It was just a total joke. Number 11, this one still hurts, even though this guy is just retired and done playing football, about to be in the Hall of Fame. The Julio Jones trade. Yikes, that was a big one. Number 10, Mitchell Schwartz and Alex Mack leaving. For you younger Browns fans right now, those were two stalwarts of our offensive line, just total studs. And we did not handle those situations very well. Number 9, the hiring of Freddie Kitchens. Yeah, not great. Number 8, Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel. I mean, if we thought the Danny Shelton, Cam Irving draft, can I introduce you or interest you in the Justin Gilbert, Johnny Manziel situation? Number 7, the O-line failure for Tim Couch. Who knows what could have been? Number 6, John Dorsey. Some of you might argue that John Dorsey was not a big mistake. That, for the Browns, it was not a mistake at all. He was such a great GM. Blake will have something to say about that on the show tomorrow. Number 5, the Odell Beckham trade. It was great when it first happened until things just did not go well once he got here. Number 4, Kyle Shanahan's escape. Yes, we did have Kyle Shanahan at one point, and we blew that as well. Number 3, Hugh Jackson. Yep. How about Hugh Jackson years 1, 2, and 3? I can't believe we just kept that loser around. Oh my gosh, we are so stupid. Number 2, what do you guys think it is? Just say it out loud in your car or wherever you are watching this, listening to this. What do you think? We got 1 and 2 left. What are the 2 biggest mistakes this team has made since 1999 that I haven't mentioned yet? You got it? You ready? Maybe you got them both. What order are they in? Number 2, the Deshaun Watson trade. That's the number 2. So what does that leave at number 1? They said, and again, this is Jared Moeller and Jake Burns, they said Jimmy Haslam buying the team was the number 1 mistake the Cleveland Browns have made since 1999. We will have comments on that as well tomorrow night when we do the show, but I want to hear your personal top 5 mistakes. Again, it does not have to be from this list. Any 5 mistakes. There are a ton of them. There's too many to list. Pick your 5, put them in the comments. We'll read as many as we can on the show tomorrow night. We will bring our personal 5 to the show tomorrow night. We will collectively put together our top 10. We're going to have some fun doing it. So that's a wrap for today. Like I said, just a quick microcast. Just wanted to get some information out there about this whole Shedeur CFL thing and wanted to go through this list of top 25 mistakes for the Browns so that we can hit this tomorrow night and have a little bit of fun with it and get your input on the show. If you guys don't mind dropping it in the comments what you think. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, go to jointhedogs.com. 1, if you want to support the show, we really do just greatly appreciate that. But number 2, play fantasy football with us, man. Get in there, join a fantasy football league. We've got people from all different experience levels with fantasy football. We got people in there that have been playing for 10 plus years. We got people in there that this is their first year ever playing fantasy. They just want to try it out. And we said, well, get in there and do it with us. It's a fun, like, it's competitive, but it's fun. We had One of our members 2 years ago was her first time ever playing fantasy football. We dog her all the time about it because who did she draft in the first round with her first round pick? David Njoku. Second round pick, Donovan Peoples-Jones. And we were like, you don't understand the concept of this clearly. And then she came back last year in year 2, and she won the championship, or she was in the champ. I forget if she was in the championship, whatever. Great year, great season. Came back. She studied up. She learned from her experience in that first year and came back with a vengeance and did a whole lot better in year 2. So now it's going to be year 3, and we'll see what she can do now. But it's just a ton of fun. So get in there, play fantasy with us. And again, appreciate you guys tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Have a great week. And I will be talking to you with Blake and Justin on the episode that will come out on Wednesday. Till I see you guys in that one. Let's go Browns.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by Butcher Box for Pets. Browns fans, we love our fellow dogs, our Dog Pack members, and the Dog Pound faithful, but let's not kid ourselves. The most important dogs in our lives are, well, our dogs. Your furry friends aren't just pets, they're part of the family. But the question is, what are you actually feeding them? Head to butcherbox4pets.com/products to see all the options for your dogs, including fresh and dry foods, treats, meal toppers, and even toys for your dog. If you're not sure what your dog will like best, try the Premium Nutrition Adult Starter Pack, and they even have a vacation bundle to take care of your four-legged friends while you're on vacation this summer. And right now you can get 20% off your order with promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out. At ButcherBox, they believe in real ingredients. Their pet foods have been developed and certified by vet nutritionists to contain zero artificial flavors or preservatives. You get protein-packed formula with over 50% of the recipe comprised of third-party certified humane ButcherBox meat, plus functional ingredients like pre- and postbiotics to support your dog's vitality and digestion. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line is your dogs are getting the nutrition and the value they need, and honestly, that they deserve. I know our home wouldn't be the same without Odie, our 100-pound golden retriever who thinks he's a 10-pound lap dog. He is not, but it gives us peace of mind knowing that we're giving him quality food instead of just that factory processed garbage from the store. And speaking of the store, no need to go. ButcherBox for Pets delivers their high-quality food right to your door. So head to butcherboxforpets.com/products and use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 20% off your order. It's time for us dogs to give our dogs the nutrition they deserve.
Sterling Holmes, a fan-sided, joined now by entrepreneur and philanthropist known for his commitment to advancing rational philosophy, as well as an author who just wrote The Happiness Experiment, a revolutionary way to increase happiness. Carl Barney. Carl, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks, Sterling.
Yeah. Folks listening, by the way, are you ready to take control of your future, significantly increase your own happiness, and transform lives? Then this conversation is for you. After a terrifying brush with death, Carl created the innovative idea of prequests, or happiness grants, inheritances provided to the grantees while the grantor was still alive. First and foremost, Carl, how did you come up with the idea of prequesting?
Well, there were three things that happened. One was a terrifying plane crash. I was on this plane, about 100 passengers on it. We took off and started climbing for altitude. Suddenly, there was this massive explosion in the back of the plane. I thought the whole back of the plane had blown off. And then total silence, no engines, no air conditioning, no noise at all. And then suddenly the plane started plunging to the ground. Absolutely knew I was going to die. But I'm here, so a miracle occurred, but you'll have to read the book to find out what happened. But that was the first thing. The second thing that happened is my sister's husband was dying, and he's given 6 months to live, and very sad about it. So she was living in England, so I flew over to England, and I said, Janet, you're in my will, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring your inheritance, your bequest, forward and make it a prequest. I'm going to give it to you now, so that you can use it and your husband can use it and fulfill their final wishes. And she was blown away. I mean, she was totally stunned. She cried, she laughed, she loved it. And they used it, and it really was good for them in the final days of his life. Well, my older brother was sitting there with his wife. And I turned to my older brother and I said, well, look, since I'm doing this for Janet, why don't I do this for you too? And why don't you have this and it's your bequest? And he said, oh, that's great. Thank you. So generous. But his wife went ballistic. Wife said, this is too much money. It's wrong. I don't want anything to do with it. And she stormed out of the room. And so I said, whoa, that's a surprise. So that caused me some concern, which I'll tell you about later. Anyhow, that was the number two. Now, the third thing that happened was I'm going over my financial investments. And I said to my accountant and my planner, I said, look, there's all this money on here. It's not being used by me. It's not being used to do any good for anybody. He said, well, it's making more money. I said, I don't care about making more money. I want to know how this money is going to be used for my benefit, my happiness, and for others' happiness. And so that's when I started to think about making these prequests to 20 people in my will. And that's what I did.
Well, with such a long and distinguished background in business, as you're mentioning right here, what was the primary factor that inspired you to write a book on happiness instead of maybe a book on business or something in that genre?
Well, it was the happiness experiment and seeing what my friends, employees, former employees, what these 20 people did. So I sat down with them and I went through, I told them what I was going to do and so forth. And then I saw them doing their happiness planning, working with a happiness coach. I saw what their plans were. And then I saw them experiencing, increasing their happiness, what they were doing. And I said, this is really good. These guys are doing great. I need to write about this so other people can do the same thing. They can follow these people, what they did, their plans, what they did to fulfill their plans. And I thought it was a good idea to get into the world. So I wasn't planning to write a book. This has just happened. So
that's incredible. Just organic.
Exactly. I mean, this happened in real time with real people and real results.
When did you realize that the prequests were more than just a one-time gift? And as you're mentioning, a longer-term commitment, if you will, and again, as you titled the book, The Happiness Experiment.
Yeah. When I sat down with people, I said to them, I want you to make the best use of this money. And so this money is going to really help you in your life, become more successful, help you become more happy. And I said, what I'd like you to do is write a plan. And they said, well, what kind of plan? And I said, well, a happiness plan. And they said, what's a happiness plan? I said, okay, I'll get you a happiness coach who can help you make a happiness plan. And so I realized that it wasn't just the one time, the gift. So they had a happiness coach who helped them figure out happiness habits, which they could pursue all the year. So, and the coach stayed with them for the year and helped them implement their plan. So it was a package. It's not just dumping money on somebody or saying, hey, here's a bunch of money. That's there's a Hollywood thing. That's not what this is about. This is a thoughtful, careful, deliberate program. It's the money given in the right time for the right person. It's the planning and it's the coaching that all comes together.
Well, since we're on the subject of planning and coaching, the grants that help reshape and change lives, which obviously in today's day and age, so timely, what is your hope that the book can do for your readers?
I know that you're big on sports. Okay, so I've read you about it. In sports, everything is planned. Everything is precise. Every play, every game is thoughtful. And then they have the plan, they execute, they train for the plan, they work the plan. It's the same thing with happiness. If you plan and you pursue and you develop happiness habits, just as you do in sports. And in sports, you become great, and you can become a lot happier when you do this same process in life. So my hope is this, and this is why I wrote the book, for two reasons. Anybody that follows the book can increase their happiness. They make a decision, they put together a plan, they pursue the plan, they will become happier. And I wanted them to read these stories so they could follow in their footsteps. The other thing is people who are wealthy, who have a lot to give, get them thinking about the people that they're grateful for. The people we don't become rich and famous and successful without a lot of help. And that thing is true for you too. That you had a lot of people that did nice things for you. And then what you do is recognize them. You can put them in your will and say, I'm going to tell them thank you when I'm dead. But then you say, why should I wait? Don't wait. Bring it forward. Sit down with them now and say, look, I've got the money. Here, take some and use it for your own happiness. And it ripples. It goes out into the community, their friends and family. And it'd be great if it got into the world.
If more people embraced pre-questing and intentional happiness planning, how do you think society as a whole would change?
Well, I think it would have to change. There would be much more focus on deliberate, intentional increasing of your own happiness and those that you care about. And then it would ripple and spread into the community. Now, if a lot of people in the world, particularly the wealthy people, said, look, I didn't get here alone. There's the friends and employees, former employees. These are the people who helped me. And I'm going to express how grateful I am and give them a happiness grant, but require a plan, a thoughtful plan, give them a coach, do it well, do it deliberately. And, if that was happening all over the world, which I'd love to see, with all of the wealthy people in the world, it would really make a difference. And I hope it does.
Well, and again, this conversation right here, it's all about how to take control of your future, increase your own happiness, and transform lives. These are all very important things, all things that should be taught in school. These are things that folks need to. How often do I use calculus right now, Carl? I'm not using calculus right now. How often am I doing biology right now, Carl? Not too often. But what I could do is obviously take control of my future, create my own happiness, and you can do that especially with the help of Carl's book, The Happiness Experiment. Again, a revolutionary way to increase happiness by Carl Barney. Carl, I really appreciate it.
I love talking with you. Thank you. It made me very happy. And can we point out that the book is available for pre-order wherever books are sold, but Amazon will be able to take the orders, and they can go to happinessexperiment.com and buy the book pre-order.
Carl, appreciate it.